Let's make a beautiful pasta. A beautiful pasta, a nourishing pasta with lots of heavy marinara flavor, a little bit of thyme, a little bit of garlic, some spices, a little white wine. Everyone will be coming from miles around to taste it on STUDLY Vegan! Okay, the first thing I'm going to do, I've got boiling water right here. I'm going to take just like a handful of my pasta. This is spaghetti, 10-minute spaghetti. I'm going to throw that in, and I'm going to set my timer. That way, I don't accidentally overcook it, because I want it to be al dente. I want it to be just about right. Feel the spaghetti give. Once that boiling water hits it, it gives in and it'll melt down. It'll bend into the pan where you can boil it. Now I've got my water just as salty as the ocean. That means I've got as much salt in there as it'll hold before the salt will actually fall out of suspension and just collect in the bottom of the pot. Bottom of the pot. Okay, now let's start. I'm going to warm up this pan here. I just want it to be lightly hot, not too hot. I'm going to start this time with my herbs. This is thyme, some beautiful thyme. I'm going to just lightly go along, strand by strand, pulling the leaves off. For the most part, these leaves are very tender, so I don't care if I get part of the stalk in with the leaf. It's all fine. We're going to just chop it up. Yeah, I just see these. This is the tough part. You know, in any of these sticks and twigs that you can get out, pull those out. But the rest, just chop it up. Make your nice cat paw. Keep your knuckles in touch with the blade as we go through mincing this up nice and fine. Trying to keep it away from the wind. There. Beautiful. Just start to let that begin. I'm going to add a little pepper to it just because I love when the pepper hits that hot pan. I love that flavor. I love that smell. Give my pasta a quick stir here. Make sure all the ends are submerged. I don't want any tough ends that didn't get cooked enough. Now to this I'm going to add my garlic, just like we always do, with a smash and a smash. Collect the paper, just like that. It's one of these things that we do again and again. It's like a good starting off point. Mashing garlic. You know, I know some people who have a allium allergy. If you're allergic to garlic, maybe you need to find some other kind of a go-to spice. Maybe you just do your opening seasoning overture with just the herbs, and you leave out the alliums like the onions or the garlic. But for this one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use also onion. Get a little bit of onion in there. Whoa, that's jumping onion. This is a special jumping onion. It's going to fly off the pan. Okay. Now, I'm going to give it a little bit of oil. I'm going to just dance around the edge. Dancing around the edge with a little grapeseed oil. Let it find its way down into the bottom. We'll listen for that sizzle. That's how we know we're in business. All right. Now, to sweeten this up a little bit, I'm going to add these carrots. These are a beautiful heirloom carrot, organic from a farmer's market. I love the carrots that are all tangled and sometimes look like naked bodies. You know, the ugly produce, the stuff that some grocery stores refuse to sell. And it ends up being a waste of food. You know, if your vegetables look funny, it doesn't affect the taste or the nutrition. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Great way to start off our marinara. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is our meat. We're going to use Beyond Meat this time. This is a nice slab of Beyond Meat. I'm just going to kind of break it. See how I'm doing? Just going to kind of fan it out into little chunks, little bitty chunks like this. Checking the clock, we were about halfway done with our spaghetti. So the race is on. Can we get our sauce done in time for the pasta? We might be able to. All right. We're gonna make a raw marinara, or it's gonna be mostly raw. So what I wanna do, I'm gonna keep that nice and hot. What we wanna do is, I'm gonna pull the stem out of this tomato, give it a quick cut, and throw it in here. See how I'm doing that? Just pulling out the top. I'm gonna cut it. That way we're gonna get at it nicely with our blender. I'm gonna throw in some of these. These are just our cherry tomatoes. Nice number of cherry tomatoes in there. I'll throw a little bit of thyme. There's still some thyme. Let's see if this is enough first. And I'm going to give it a little shallot. Again, I'm using alliums. This is my third allium of the day. We've got garlic, onion, and now shallot. I'm going to use a little less of the shallot. I'm feeling like maybe if we don't cook it so much, I don't want to cook it so much, and so therefore I don't want to use too much of it. Because shallot is a very strong... Oh, wow. This smells amazing. I'm feeling a little urge to give it some salt. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Just so I know it's been done. Good, beautiful. 3 minutes left on the pasta. Okay. Now, let's blend this puppy up. So we're going to turn this marinara, this is tomatoes now, but it's going to become our sauce. Let's see what we can do here. There it is. God, that's so satisfying. Wow, I'm taking a bath in tomato here. It's breaking it down. Let's keep these moving. Oh, look at that. Look at our ground beef chunks. See how the carrots are getting caramelized? They're getting a little bit of that Maillard reaction on this. This is when it gets up to a certain temperature, it starts browning and caramelizing. Well, we pulverized that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of the sun-dried tomatoes in there. This will help kind of suck up some of the moisture from the tomato. I'm going to spin that around. And we're going to add it to our beefy caramelized onion, caramelized carrot, and thyme concoction here. Let's do this. We'll put it on one side. We'll put it on one half of the pan just so we can see how it mixes in. How's that look? Pretty interesting. There's one piece here that didn't get chopped up, but that's okay. We'll deal with that. It'll be a nice soft thing to add, like a nice flavor bomb. Biting into a nice warm tomato and all that warm tomato juice comes out, spreads all over your mouth. Yum. All right. Let's check our pasta. It's just almost there. Now I thought one thing we can do is why don't we add a little bit of kale just to give it a little bit of green. So I'm going to just strip the kale leaves with my hand. Just like that. It's nice to bruise up the kale too. When you beat up your kale, you break these little cell walls, and the kale will start turning this dark green color. It's almost like the plant is bleeding, and that's to protect the cells from the air that's getting in. So when you crush it up, you're literally adding antioxidants to the leaf. Let's go ahead and throw these in here. That'll give us a nice little bit of chewiness to our Bolognese. This will all reduce down. Wow. All right, we're getting very close here. Just clean up our area really quickly. Okay, since we're close, I'm gonna start getting a little taste in, see where we might want to go with this in terms of seasoning, because I think that fresh thyme, the garlic, wow! Don't ever use canned tomato sauce if you can get a real tomato, because it's always going to be better. Think of the difference between a canned tomato and a fresh tomato. What would you rather eat? What would you rather eat? Of course, a fresh tomato. And this is no different. We're still, like, the tomato is maintaining a lot of its freshness. You know, it hasn't been, we are cooking it a little bit, so it's going to mellow a little bit. Basically what you're going to lose is some of the acidity, some of that sour taste, but you still get enough of it that it still has that fresh tomato taste. All right, so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to strain out our pasta here. How's that? Okay. I'll just keep that right in here. Notice we didn't put any oil on that because we didn't want to add any oil to this. We don't want the noodles to be slippery. We want them to soak up as much of the sauce as possible. Okay. I see these tomato chunks that somehow evaded the blender are getting nice and soft still. They're softening up nicely, adding to the overall look. I'm going to turn off my heat. Now this is quick. We didn't have to cook this for 6 hours. It's almost done. Pasta marinara sauce with our meat gives us this Bolognese, and it only took a few minutes. It only took 10 minutes. A little more than that. All right, let me give it a quick taste here before we take it out of the pan. Wow. Yeah, this is a hearty pasta. Really hearty. So we have a choice here. Either I can mix the pasta in with this, or just put the pasta in the bowl and put this on top. It's up to you to depends on how you like it. I tend to like having a bed of pasta with the sauce on top. Because I like when I'm eating it, I like to be able to dip in to the center where all the pasta is, all the sauce, and then you can choose how saucy each bite is. Just like that. Looks so good, doesn't it? Chewy kale. All right. Well, that looks good. Should we get a little taste of it? I'll take this part on the side. This is really the best part. Not so many noodles. Oh, this is like muscle food. You've got your nice carbs, it's protein, fat. This is a great meal. And the carrots, the funny thing, these carrots have this way of kind of bringing down the acid and balancing out all those other flavors. And then, of course, we've got this great garlic. So that gives us that kind of metallic, kind of pungent background flavor. Wow. Well, try it yourself. And don't ever use canned tomato sauces if you can help it. Just get good tomatoes, let them sit out, let them get kind of tender. When they sit out a little bit, they're starting to get a little soft. That's the perfect time to make them into a sauce. All right, you try it and tag me at STUDLY Vegan. I want to see it, okay? All right, till next time.